Hi, Mel. I'm going to do your past life wisdom and healing service now. So, we'll see what Spirit has to say. So, you would like to know more about a lifetime where you were an author. You were told by another psychic that you were an author approximately 2 past lives ago. And you wanted to know more clues, maybe books that you'd written, maybe a name of some kind. Spirit never gives me the specific details and usually comes out in storylines, but we will see, okay? It's kind of cool because I did that other past life service for you and we explored there were 2 past lives with author images that came up as well, so that was kind of neat. So let's see what we can find out about this, okay? All right, I'm just gonna relax and then I'm just connecting with you. So I see you is standing. You're wearing all black. I mean, long sleeve shirt, like a long pants, all black, black hair. There's some weird energy bubble here. You're standing behind, I don't know, let's just say it's a portrait or like a frame or a weird mirror or some glass plate. I don't know. But there's a weird, like, super bubble, like you can go blow, like create the super bubble, like the biggest bubble of all time, and it's sort of coming out of whatever this glass plate, sort of weird picture frame. You're on the other side of it, so it's a weird projection coming out. They are turning the scene, so we are looking at the side. I see the side of whatever this picture frame thing is, you all in black looking straight through, and then the weird bubble thing. It's getting smaller and smaller and starting to look like a weird figurines and some sort of weird knickknack. Frozen in time. Even the bubble is sort of like somebody had created I don't know what they would have made this out of, but sort of like you have like a snow globe and you have the beautiful stuff on the inside and it's painted and everything. That's sort of like this scene is sort of just on a platform, girl all in black, a weird sort of frame, and then an odd bubble thing. And it's stillness. It is captured in the stillness. It is captured in time. The moment will forever be captured in time. They keep having me look at this very small or ornamental piece. It kind of looks like kind of contemporary art. It's like, it's really dreamy. It's kind of weird. We don't know what it all means. It makes us ask questions about ourselves. And it's sort of in an odd, it's small. It's maybe this big. Sit on this. There's no orb around it. It's just you, a frame, and then a bubble thing. We are looking at this sort of becomes blotted as though it was put as an illustration in a book. It's no kid's book. It's really thick. It has a lot more writing to it than it does pictures, but it does seem to have some pictures dotted here and there. They're emphasizing there were not computers at this time. It was not written even with a typewriter, because it was written by hand. Scratched between what would be an old style pen and paper. Parchment paper. I don't even know what that is or what that means. It's just old paper. You were not female. You were definitely male. In this scene, there is a man here. It's like he's writing in a journal. I'm just going to take a minute here. I just want to examine what happened. All right, I'm supposed to tell you what I see. Basically, it's like colonial days, and he literally is. Is he an Englishman? Is he an Englishman come to America? I don't know. He's wearing a big white wig. He's dressed in sort of a naval type of uniform. He's got buccaneer shoes type shoes on. He loves writing things down. He likes writing down his thoughts. He is very immersed in this. He loves it. He likes watching and then writing down what he sees. It's like a journal type thing. It doesn't seem as though he actually wrote at this time. There's nothing about him publishing a book at this time. I'm telling you, I feel his heart is just in love with this experience. There's some woman that is captivating to him. She's wearing this material of this dress is like a mint green color. She has amazing posture. Her hair is really pretty and done upward. She would be of family that would have enough money to have nice clothing and that sort of thing. Definitely a scene by the water. It really feels like kind of a new America, sort of colonial times. He's taking his hat off, putting his hat down. He is inside of an office type space. And it's on land. It's not out at sea. This time he's more serious. I'm telling you, what he's writing is very serious thoughts and his opinions about things. He has a really sincere feeling within his heart about whatever this matter is, and he is boldly writing down exactly how he feels inside. It's like a journal, though, so it's not as if he's proclaiming it to anybody. He's just really seriously writing about it in this book. He feels alive when he can share his thoughts on the page. It feels like it's like people can take pictures all the time right now. You know, you just capture everything on film, and then you get thousands and thousands of pictures, and but this here is capturing time on the page through writing. It's not taking pictures, it's writing down the moment, writing down in detail what it looked like, what it felt like. So it's capturing the moment through language, through writing, and not through a photography. It's like his best friend. His journal is his best friend. They keep showing me him watching this woman with this mint green dress, but she's not looking at him. She's looking off into the distance. She always is not looking at him. It's like he sees her every time she seems to be looking out at the horizon while she's sort of stopped on some type of boardwalk or pier area, and then just looks off. There's water here, and just looks off into the distance. He always sees her from this office window. He looks at her and then sees her. It just sees her. And that's when he would stop writing, was to see her. Everything stops. When he sees her, everything does. There's some sort of movement by him. He's walking quickly through, I don't know, a very long house of some kind. There candlelight along the side. He's got a wig and then the sort of like a naval hat or something. There's some sort of discussion or agreements, and then he is leaving now. He's been talking to some men. He's leaving now. He has walked through the door. He is now standing outside. But now his demeanor changes from serious and has direction, knows what to do next, to everything. He lets go of everything, and he's going to stop here and stand just like she stands and look across the horizon. It's nighttime. Everything stops just like it does when he sees her. Everything stops. So everything stops for him as he stands in this exact position where he always sees her stand, looking across the horizon. Now there's sort of a scene where he is on a boat, and I can hear seagulls. He is out on the boat. He's not doing any work of any kind, but he's just looking out. He seems to be sitting or leaning up against something. He's just thinking. He is very patient in his thinking. There isn't the emotional rifts. He actually has control of his feelings. He just allows the thoughts to happen. He feels really balanced. Somebody who writes in a journal as often as he does, there's something to the healing gifts that journal writing provides, you know? He doesn't feel any fears. He doesn't feel worried. He doesn't feel sad. But he does think about that woman. But not necessarily as all he thinks about. He does think about other things too. A lot as well. She drifts in sometimes. He can almost feel himself back in the moment. And so he stands back in the moment on that sort of boardwalk and looking across, just like he did. He was able to capture the moment exactly as it was, without fail, remembers it perfectly, energetically perfectly. He smiles now as he recalls exactly every detail of the moment of when he stood there in her shoes, basically, exactly where she stands. In this perfect moment, she stands before him, and he then is behind her, holding her from behind. And it's peaceful, and it's love, and it's romantic and sweet. Everything feels like the perfect moment. He's able to enter into the experience in all its realness, as though it really is happening. He lingers in this daydream for a little while. He's not like a lower class type naval man. He has some rank in it. He doesn't seem to talk a lot. I mean, he really is somebody who has a lot going on within himself, but doesn't necessarily feel the need to share all of himself with everybody all the time. He's not a blabbermouth. He's not a loudmouth. He's not a chatterbox. He's not but he is quite deep and profound in what he experiences and what he feels within his thoughts. Not necessarily just thinking, specifically thinking and only thinking, but feeling the thoughts, experiencing the thoughts. He is very healthy. There's nothing in the way of him ever getting seasick, or he just does not seem to get sick. The spirit is indicating that he was a very healthy man. I can't say that he was lonely. I think he had a reason to feel lonely because he longs for this woman in his life. But he also was accepting of his role or rank, his responsibility. He he longed to have that, but it's not as though that was all there is to life kind of thing. I can't live without her kind of thing. They're showing me now from her eyes. She's standing there poised for all eternity, for all time, never leaving that dock, looking out forever across the horizon, showing me her in stillness in that spot. It's interesting because her dress now is no longer the mint green. It's sort of like a lighter blue color, almost like a gray blue. Not moving, still and captured by him for all eternity, captured within his heart, in the physical within a journal or a book, but for eternity within his heart, within his soul. She will forever be within his soul or within his heart, within the spirit of love. The spirit of love that we are all in oneness with. The spirit of love that inspires us all to choose to step out of our houses and touch somebody that we feel in tune with. Why didn't he leave? The Spirit is asking me questions. They're asking me, why would he have sat there and just watched her? Why wouldn't he have left? Why wouldn't he have gone to her? Why wouldn't he have just asked her a question? Why wouldn't he have taken the time to look into her eyes? Why wouldn't he have taken the time to get to know her? Instead, he took the time to get to know himself and his feelings and his thoughts and his own world. But why wouldn't he have taken the time to get to know her world? To get to know the experience of sharing worlds. His universe with her universe, two universes now collide and become one. Talking about the spirit of living now as well. He is now back in his thoughts and thinking. This time the spirit of writing has inspired him to share himself with himself, to share more of himself with himself. He doesn't quite see it that way. It's healing for him. It's reflective. It's meaningful. It captures time for him. It captures time in a way that his memory may not recall. His memory's quite good. The fact that he could enter into a scene and see and experience it in all detail like that. We all have this ability. We have a beautiful moment. You can actually enter into the memory and feel it all around you and relive it over and over again. He likes to capture all the details, every detail. Exactly what the weather would have been, exactly how the light hit her dress, exactly her stance, exactly, all the details, like taking a picture. He's so refined, he's like reserved. He's very reserved. He's very at peace within himself. He's very at peace within the realms of life. He's at peace with everything. It could be the most glorious thing for him just to see her, and that would be enough for him. He doesn't have to have her, so to speak. He could see her, and that would be enough. He's really obsessed with details and the way the details make him feel within his heart. He's writing again. He's actually quite happy. He's in love with writing again. He is in love with writing his feelings and his thoughts and everything down, writing it all down. capturing every detail of the way he feels about something. It's his memory. It's his life. This is more meaningful than anything else. The details of life, the experience of life, the way life feels. And when life is in a state of longing or loves, but why is he not going to her, embracing her? He's still on a ship. Right now, he's still on a ship. They show me his book he's been written quite a lot, so time has passed. I can feel him having aged within himself, even. Just feeling older in that way. Life having altered the way that I don't know how to describe it. When you're younger, it just sort of like you kind of at the will of your feelings. You're delighted by everything. You're excited. Everything is still new. As you get older, things become repetitive and things become like that newness, that excitement doesn't seem to be part of the flair of his heart right now. It's like he's weathered from life, but not downtrodden. He's just older now. I don't know how much older. I just experience that time has passed that has created a sensation of age. He is back at the pier, and it does not look the way that it did. It looks exactly the same as it did. To his feelings, his motivations, is sort of almost artistic in his way of painting a picture through language. Because he is older now, the dock is not the same meaning that it was when he was, 5 years ago or something like that. He wants to be charmed by everything again. He can't seem to feel the way he had felt when he stood on the dock that one time before he left. He's not able to stand in his own shoes again, which was standing in her shoes. I'm just waiting. Things are not the same as they once were. There's a storm brewing. I mean, I really do see an image of Abraham Lincoln. So I'm just, basically he turns into Abraham Lincoln. So what does that mean exactly? All I can do is watch the scene play out. He is walking along the boardwalk. He sort of steps into the shoes. He looks like Abraham Lincoln. And so he is walking, but he is also merging back within what he was as well. This style of himself. I feel very he's really upset about something. I mean, he's really upset, and his mind and everything feels. The thing is, this guy doesn't talk to. I mean, he really is in his own world all the time, constantly in his own world, and he is still in his own world as he is having this sort of panic within himself. Everything, this sort of storm's brewing, right? Is it really storming, or is his emotional state? He's feeling things that are shaking him up, right? But he's able to calm himself down quite quickly. He's still sort of walking back and forth. He doesn't have a direction. He doesn't really know what to do right now. He isn't even going into his old office. He isn't going to see that girl. He isn't doing anything. He's just feeling lots of things inside of himself. And then he's walking back and forth on a boardwalk kind of thing. Pacing and thinking really hard. He won't stop. Even in this way, I'm trying to get him to relax, maybe go into one of these places and, it happens to be a bed. Let's see if we can lay him down, help him rest. So he won't stop pacing back and forth. How long has he been upset about this thing? What is he upset about? We don't know. I don't see him writing in his journal. When he is upset, he's just pacing, thinking very hard about something. Is he talking to anybody? He is not. He is within himself, constantly, always within himself, thinking and feeling. I'm just stopping him. I've been trying to get him to lay down. I've been trying to get him to do other things to show us other parts of the way he feels. I can't get him to stop this behavior, so I'm just handing him his journal and see if that will inspire him to share something else. He looks at me and he nods, and he seems to know that there's something important that he's got to do. When he feels inspired, I'm telling you, it's a spiritual thing. Today, human beings, we feel inspired. It just seems way too physical, way too mental. It lacks that real heartfelt warmth and connection with the infinite, and allowing the infinite then to be the inspiration that creates. It's just, I'm telling you, this guy has a massive spiritual knack and wouldn't really see that he was spiritual. He would just see himself as an everyday guy, in the Navy or whatever you would call this. Likes to write, has really deep feelings and thoughts about things, but I'm telling you, he's a really a profound spiritual ability because of the way that he is able to open up his heart and connect with infinite energy. And the infinite energy that flows through him and inspires him in ways that are valuable. So he's inspired, right? We don't get to see what he does. But what I do see in this next scene, I get to hear a bell ringing, and then what is somebody walking through a door? It's like an old woman. She has a sort of cloth piece around her head. The scene is really quiet. The scene is not influencing us to... There's something of a library in here. So that's all I'm seeing. It's not particularly large. It's just a small space with shelves and books. There's something of selling paper or tools for writing in here as well, or selling journal type books. Selling sort of mailing tools. That seems to be what they do. I don't know. Is it a library? Is it a very small library, or is it just it seems to be versatile in that it's a library, but they also sell some things here too. It's all fading out. So I'm just going to connect with my spirit guides, and I want to see what they have to say about that woman. They show me that he is looking into her face as though it was painted in a oil painting and hung in the most renowned location. That he will see her for the rest of his life. That she is a piece of art, and when he is captivated by her, he is still gazing upon her face, even to this day. It's a love story, he says. If there was anything I loved writing most, it was to write about love. It wasn't to write about the things men argued over, political things. It was to write about my feelings about love, he said. So, he has this journal. He's looking at me, and he's handing it through me. Basically, like, there's a sort of a picture frame, right? So there's something here to this, but he's handing the book to you. He said, this is the story that you're looking for. The one that captivated us the most. The one that was about love. He says, you'll remember this story. It's fascinating because he gives off two reflections. One reflection is that your soul is his soul. So you have experienced love in this high caliber way as a man, right? Falling in love with a woman. But he also shares a reflection as though that you were the woman that he fell in love with, and that he wrote this book about you. So it's really neat, the reflections, because Spirit says again, we are all part of the spirit of love. How you love one is part of the reflection of love that is shared with you. Our souls are all in oneness with each other. That's what the value of love is. So, you are holding this book. You're opening it to the first page. You seem to remember in a way that brings tears to your eyes. You remember all of these scenes. You remember the writing about these things that weren't writing about her. You remember. There were some frustrating times in there. You remember. Those times really brought some frustration. I mean, you could feel really heated up about it. But it was her that captivated you in a way that it helped everything. Just, there was nothing to be upset about. There was nothing to feel anger over or frustration with. Because love was the most valuable part of living. You find every detail of the book to be the most valuable detail. Because you took the time to honor the details of what you saw and how you experienced it through your eyes, through your thoughts, through your heart feelings, through your body, through touch, through color, through sound, through everything. It was like you were an artist, but you weren't painting, you were writing in detail. He says he just wants to see you smile. Because he keeps showing me the reflection of you being the female. But there's also a reflection of you as the man. But in the scene, Spirit says, you are this portrait. You are this captivating woman. The picture for all, captured for all time. It's really cool. The feeling is awesome. It's a good story. It's a love story. It's about you. This whole story is about you, about your soul. You get to decide. You get to take this gift. It's really cool. Makes you feel kind of different, It was really full of love, energy, and color, and artistic sort of. It's just neat, spiritual. I'm still sort of experiencing it, so I'm working on disconnecting. All right, Mel, thank you for that awesome experience. That was so cool. I feel like a whole different person now. All right. For those of you watching, if you're interested in experiencing past life wisdom and healing service with me, please visit my website at abbynormalswisdomquest.com. Thank you for watching, and thank you for supporting my channel.